Parshas Bereshis, a new cycle for the year. The Kotzker Rebbe was very sharp, very incisive, had a lot of very interesting insights in life. One of the divrei Musar that he had, well known, was that he advised people to always wear a jacket with pockets on both sides. And he said, in the two pockets, he should have two different slips of paper. On one side, he should have a piece of paper that says, Bishvili Nivra Ha'olam. And on the other pocket, he should have the phrase, Anochi Afar Va'efer. Interesting contradiction to put us in our place. What I found out is a very interesting insight in the Parsha in Bereshis. Let's start with the first one. By Shabbos, it says, Vayichala Elokim b'yam ha'shvi melachto asher asa, vayishbos b'yam ha'shvi mikom melachto asher asa. HaKadosh Baruch Hu completed his work on Yom HaShvi, and he rested on Yom HaShvi. So it's brought down in Masechta Avos, all about the discussion about Erev Shabbos being Hashmashos, and the question is that there's a stira, Minei Uvein, in the Pasuk. It says, Bein Hashmashos, it says Hashem finished his work, and exactly the same Pasuk it says, Vayishbos, he rested with his work. And the answer that's always given is, and I'll quote it now, verbatim, is from Bereshis Rabbah, Basar v'adam she'eno yodea lo itov v'lo rega'ov v'lo sa'osav sin ayin vav saf yud vav hu mosif michol ala kodesh. Since we cannot determine precisely when that moment when Shabbos comes in, so we have to perforce add on from chol to kodesh. Aval kodesh baruch hu she'odea rega'ov v'itov she'osav nichnas bo kechut ha'sayra. Kodesh Baruch Hu knows precisely the way that the time is running. Hashem created time, and therefore He knows exactly when Shabbos starts and when Shabbos finishes. So from this Bereshis Rabbah, it appears that it's pointing out man's deficiencies, man's limited view of the world, man's inability to be as precise as Kaviyachol Kadosh Baruch Hu. I will take the liberty of changing the meaning of this Bereshis Rabbah just a drop. I'm going to say the words again. Basar v'adam she'eni yodea lo itov lo regav lo sha'osav. A man does not know his moments, his minutes, or his hours. The Medrash is telling us we have no control over our lives. We don't know how our lives will live. We don't know how long our lives will last. We have no control at all over one of the most basic aspects of life, which is time. That is man's limitation. Look how little we are. Look how imprecise we are. Look how humble we should be because of this fact of knowing so little about even every moment of the day. That's what the Medrash is telling us. When Shabbos comes in, we should glorify and magnify Kadosh Baruch Hu's greatness as the Melech Malchei Melachim, especially when we look at it from the point of view that we are unable to do that at all. So, Anochi Afar Va'efer, the famous saying about Afar Va'efer. Afar is dirt, it has no past. Efer is ashes, has no future. Avram Avinu is saying, I have no past or no future, I have nothing. I have nothing. So therefore, if we recognize our humility and our true station in life, we will be better people. Let's go to another pasuk. The pasuk says, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu was preparing to create Adam HaRishon, he had a conference with the Malachim, and he said, another famous pasuk, Nasa Adam b'tzalmenu kid musenu, b'yardu b'dgas hayom v'of hashamayim v'behem v'chol ha'aretz. Masechta Brachos brings down this pasuk and says the following rather startling observation. T'cheshenoel Adam na'olav b'boker, when a person puts his shoes on in the morning, Tzarech levarach she'asa li kol tzarki. Hashem, you have made for me all that I need. What does all of the things that we need have to do with putting on our shoes? Is by the very fact that we put on our shoes fulfilling all of our requests and our needs? This is the Vilna Gaon asking this question. In fact, the first vart was also quoted from the Vilna Gaon. So the Gaon says the famous pasuk in Tehillim, Tamshilu b'maaseh yadecha kol shasa tachas raglav. Everything that is in creation is under man's dominion. The pasuk tells you that we have a shlita. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave man the power to control the entire bria. We take a seed, we can crush it up and make it into food, or we can plant it, and we can make it into plants, and we can eat that. We can take the plants and feed them to our behemos. We can take the behema and we can shecht it. We can use the behema as food. We can use the behema as a source of milk. And we can use the leather of the behema to make a shoe. That is the purpose of man. Man's purpose is to be sholit in the world for one reason and one reason only. Because the HaKadosh Baruch Hu said so. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you rule the world. We have to do that job as part of our responsibility that Hashem gives us. Now, this is an amazing insight that he brings down himself, the Vilna Gaon. He quotes it from in the Sefer Imrei Noyam. Man's shlita on bria to fulfill all of his needs is, and that's what we say in the pasuk. Sha'asa li kol tzarki. Why do we say that? Why do we say sha'asa li kol tzarki? We say sha'asa li kol tzarki in avar, loshen avar. Sha'asa li. Why? Because this memshala, this rulership over the world, we already got this from Parshas Bereshis. That's what the Parsha is telling us. Bishvili nivra ha'olam. On the one hand, yes, Anochi Afar va'efer, but Hashem also told us, you rule the world. If you rule it properly, I will let you continue to rule the world. And this is our job, our function, in exactly the same way as it is our job to remain humble as we do it. Let's try to work on both of these things and see if we can pull it off. Not an easy task, but it's doable only because the Torah says so. Get Shabbos.